We start the 5 o'clock hour with a live look outside. We are waking up to a very warm day ahead with temps reaching 70 degrees, and that's creating an elevated fire risk. Xcel Energy has announced they are preparing to implement enhanced power line safety settings for some parts of the Front Range. This isn't a power shutoff. They just mean that's going to shut off the power line if something were to hit it. Good morning. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney, sitting alongside Katie LaSalle and Brianna Fernandez. Brianna, collect yourself mentally. You have a minute to prepare for your first traffic report. Good morning. We are going to turn things over to Katie because lots to talk about weather-wise.
Yes, it's going to be warm, windy once again, so a red flag warning. That's why we're anticipating to see some of those concerns. Fire danger elevated, but it will feel nice this morning. It's mild, 70 degrees. That's not normal for this time of the year. Yesterday we hit 71. Daytime highs, upper 60s, low 70s returned this afternoon. Dry conditions ahead, but we'll be watching the winds. That's ahead of our next cold front. It's really more of a cool front for tomorrow. It'll bring in some gustier winds today, slightly cooler temperatures for Wednesday. That's ahead of near record warmth to end the week. So let's get you out the door. It's 5:01 on this Tuesday morning. Dry here across Colorado. Our temperatures right now above normal. In terms of our lows, we usually see temperatures in the 30s this time of the year, 50 degrees out at the airport right now with high 40s downtown to Fort Collins. Greeley not as cold this morning, 38 degrees there, mainly 20s in the mountains. Still want to have the layers on. Sunrise just before 7:20. We'll be seeing a mix of sun and clouds today. Highs will top out by 3 p.m. Upper 60s, low 70s expected. The airport, Greeley out across the plains, 40s and 50s in the mountains, so unseasonably warm statewide. The National Weather Service issuing a red flag warning taking effect at noon. This will last until 7 p.m. That's when we're anticipating to see the gustiest conditions. Now, wind gusts will be around 25 to 30 miles per hour, not extremely high. We'll start to see some of those higher winds into the foothills, Boulder, into Arvada and downtown through about 7 p.m. So it's one of those days, low relative humidity. If a fire were to spark, it could spread rapidly, so please avoid outdoor burning. Now, we do have the chance for a little precipitation in spots overnight. I'll take you through the extended forecast still to come. But Brianna, how are things looking on the roads right now?
Is quiet and very dry. Katie, thank you so much. 5:02 is your time. Let's get you out the door with a live look right now in Lakewood, 6th Avenue, right near Wadsworth. If you're leaving the Lakewood area, heading into Sheridan, Federal, maybe I-25, no issues to report there. And then same story for anyone taking those westbound lanes along 6th Avenue, heading to I-70. No issues to report really across the metro area. And I kind of want to show you what that looks like on our maps because we're not tracking any overnight construction or crashes. So zooming into southbound I-25 from 144th all the way down to 76, you're looking at an 8-minute drive. If you are heading to the Broomfield or Boulder area, you still have the green light there, so definitely take advantage. Only 17 minutes. And then that Fort Collins and that Greeley commute. So both directions of I-25 as well as Highway 85 in Greeley still in the clear.
I want to thank you. A soldier stationed at Fort Carson is now the 7th U.S. service member killed since the war with Iran began earlier this month. His body returned to the United States overnight during a dignified transfer ceremony. The Army says 26-year-old Benjamin N. Pennington died from injuries he suffered during an enemy attack March 1st at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. Pennington grew up in Glendale, Kentucky, and served with the 1st Base Battalion, 1st Base Brigade at Fort Carson. Military leaders describe him as a dedicated and experienced soldier. Here in Colorado, Governor Jared Polis ordered flags to fly at half-staff on the day of Pennington's memorial. The date of that has not been announced yet.
We're hearing from one family this morning who lost their child during a past military conflict. Our sister station in Colorado Springs spoke to a woman who lost her son in Iraq nearly 19 years ago. The mother says hearing about the U.S. casualties in Iran over the past week has been really hard for her. Her son, Jeffrey Avery, was only 19 when he was deployed. She says her heart goes out to other families who are starting their own painful journey of grief and remembrance, including the family of Sergeant Pennington.
I felt this pain in my heart. I had goosebumps and chills, and I just stared at the screen, looked at that soldier's face, and he's just a baby. He's just a baby.
Joanne also said as time passes, the sacrifice made by service members and their families is something the country should never forget.
Meanwhile, many Persian Americans say they have been riding an emotional roller coaster since the U.S. and Israel launched airstrikes on Iran. Now with a new leader in place, the appointment comes as little surprise to the Iranian community here in Colorado.
It's with the influence of the IRGC trying to say that we're here to stay. From one end, Iranians welcome the death of the Khamenei. From one end, we don't know to what extent this is going to go on.
Due to the ongoing conflict, we're already seeing a global economic impact with the price of oil per barrel topping $100. That's also contributing to higher prices at the pumps.
New video supports the claim that the U.S. likely hit a school in Iran, killing more than 170 people, including children. The video, geolocated by NBC News, shows what experts say appears to be an American Tomahawk missile hitting a compound belonging to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The building stood right next to an elementary school where witnesses said children were trapped under the rubble. The Pentagon, meanwhile, says it's still investigating that strike. The Israeli military has maintained that it's not aware of any connection between its operations in Iran and that school strike.
Last week, we brought you this breaking news of two fires at a Westminster apartment complex, and now investigators say they were both connected and accidental. Firefighters responded Wednesday night to the Village of Greenbrier Apartments on North Federal Boulevard and evacuated residents. Two Westminster police officers suffered smoke inhalation while helping people get out, and one was taken to the hospital before being released. The fire damaged several units and displaced residents in 8 apartments. It is still unclear how the two fires started.
There's a new push to put up a traffic light at the intersection where both a woman and her husband died just 2 years apart. But some say getting that light installed is actually easier said than done. Jerry Goldberg fought for a light at East Bellevue and South Franklin after his wife Andy was hit and killed there by a driver in May of 2024. Last week, Jerry died in a crash at that very same spot. Because the intersection impacts 2 cities, Greenwood Village and Cherry Hills Village, leaders are working together on a possible solution. A traffic engineer tells us the decision should really hinge on a number of different factors.
The traffic volumes are definitely the first consideration. And even if there's a lot of crashes at an intersection, there has to be enough traffic at the intersection still to warrant the signal.
Cherry Hills Village City Council plans to talk about the possibility of putting up a light at that intersection at a meeting next week. CDOT has already said it's in favor of a signal going in there.
A college-age driver parked on what looked like a city street in Denver only be towed away by a private company and charged roughly $400. He parked along West Dartmouth Avenue just south of Loretto Heights on New Year's Day. That stretch of Dartmouth is marked with a normal Denver street sign in an area marked for 2-hour parking. After figuring out his car was towed, he called his dad, who learned that street is now part of the Loretto Heights Metropolitan District, and it's considered a private street. His dad then reached out to the company that's redeveloping the area.
Thinking that they were just going to say, oh, this has been a mistake and, we'll help you resolve it. And instead, the response was the polar opposite. It was basically, no, this is our street. Doesn't matter what the parking sign says, it's our street and we can tow anybody at any time.
Steve on your side reached out and got a much different response. They said neither the developers nor the Metropolitan District had any involvement with the car's tow. Steve and the driver's father also reached out to the Public Utilities Commission, which regulates towing in Colorado, and the driver was refunded. In Colorado, if your car is towed from a commercial property, a representative from that property has to sign off on the tow, and the towing company has to provide the reason for the tow. If you feel that reason isn't right, you can file a complaint with the Public Utilities Commission.
Denver City Council has approved a new tool designed to speed up the city's permitting process. Council members voted 10-1 to approve a $4.6 million 5-year contract with Comply AI. The deal will launch an AI-powered platform called CivCheck. City leaders say it will review building plans, flag code issues early, and help applicants fix problems before submitting permits. Right now, only about 37% of applications are approved on the first try. Officials hope this new system can push that number closer to 80%.
A bill that would decriminalize prostitution in Colorado will not move forward due to a lack of support. The bill was sponsored by State Senator Nick Heinrichsen. It would have eliminated criminal penalties for prostitution involving consenting adults, but it would not have impacted criminal penalties for human trafficking and pimping. The bill was supposed to be heard at the Senate Judiciary Committee this week, but he pulled that bill, saying it might not have made it out of the committee.